Helldivers. Helldivers are referred to as the best of the best of the best. Helldivers aren't Super Earth's elite. That's a statement I keep hearing online, and it's starting to get a little more traction. And I don't think that's true. The thought that you're someone who just blindly fell for the propaganda and signed up for one of the galaxy's most harshest wars out there, it's a belief that I used to hold. And it makes sense why somebody would believe this. The game is a satire and it's a parody of Starship Troopers. And in this game, you're spreading managed democracy across the galaxy and repelling any invading forces that are not human. Space racism, it's my favorite. And on top of that, you're not meant to be the main character of the story. You're not supposed to be him, but there are many times throughout gameplay where you have him moments. Whether it be loading up your Hellbomb backpack and charging headfirst only for your favorite gambling armor perk to save you. Or Muox 03. Mox 03? Mox 03? Whatever. This guy right here, killing a Hive Lord in 2 minutes. Those are certainly him moments, and the game is full of them. You can certainly do your part for freedom to win this war. Helldivers are sent to the front lines, feet first, into the hellish meat grinder that is the Second Galactic War. It is propaganda that Helldivers are Super Earth's finest, but that doesn't make it a lie. Helldivers are Super Earth's elite, and they're sent in with the best firepower to finish the mission. And on top of all of that, I think the Helldivers are genetically enhanced, and there might be some pretty solid evidence for that. But before we get into it, please like and subscribe because it really helps me in the algorithm. And YouTube's rolling out this new hype feature, so if you manage to see that, why don't you help a brother out? So let's get into this. The tutorial being only 10 minutes isn't the only Helldiver training there is. It's just your final test to earn your cape. When you're loading up the tutorial stage, it states that the average Helldiver is 18.7 years old and that their average combat readiness is 27.1%, which granted is a little low. However, that's because you aren't a fully trained Helldiver yet. You still have one more test to go, and that's exactly what you load into after this little infographic. But the most important stat it gives is that the average patriotism rating is 97.4%, and the expected survival rate is 21.3%. But metrics are weird and everything. Besides, this is the harshest war that this galaxy has ever seen, with billions of Helldivers ready to give their life for Super Earth. So with that being said, why do we only get 24 Helldivers per operation? Or better yet, why do we only send 24 dummies into the meat grinder? Why not send everything you have at it to turn the tide on the planet? You have the initial 4 Helldivers dropped onto a planet, and then 20 reinforcements before Super Earth decides that this operation is a failure. Like I said, wouldn't you want to throw everything we have at the problem? Especially if these heartless fascists want to take away your freedom and your democracy. But there is a way to get more than 20 reinforcements, and that is sitting around and waiting until your Super Destroyer can get additional funding approved. But why would we have to wait for Super Earth to up their budget for reinforcements? Especially when you have recruitment numbers higher than ever. Billions across the galaxy who'd happily sign up and die for democracy. And a few of those billion go on to be genetic super soldiers for Super Earth. Consider the anomaly that is General Brash referring to us as 7 feet tall. You tower over Sea Soldiers, and the average human height globally is 5'7.5". So it goes to show that since you were drafted from the Super Earth's armed forces, you have gone through an insane growth spurt. And with all that growing, it comes with strength. Helldivers are strong, like really strong. Sometimes they get slammed into surfaces hard enough to break limbs, and they get up and start running like nothing ever happened. The Helldivers are absolute units. I mean, being able to shoot fully automatic weapons with broken arms, or just taking the pain of your arm mending itself back together with the stim to the neck. Being able to constantly pop stims shows that the future is amazing with its painkillers, as well as other medical enhancements, though we never see civilians or any non-Helldivers taking these stims. We do, however, see stim boxes all around the world, but no one ever takes them, so maybe once you pop a stim, it could put you out for a few days. However, this is my own personal hope just so I can have another point. At the end of the day, this miracle drug could just be futurisms. But let's get back to the point of them being really strong. I'm not necessarily a gun nerd, so take this with a grain of salt and about as much truth as a simple Google search can give you. The Stalwart is based on the FN Mini-Me Para and H&K MG4 light machine guns. Looking these up show they are chambered in 5.56, so you'd think the Stalwart would be as well. I mean, it could weigh around 19 to 22 pounds. Like I said, take this with a grain of salt because this is chambered in 5.5 by 50 and the closest round is 5.6 by 50 Magnum, which ended up becoming 5.56. You're never gonna guess what the MG43 machine gun is based on. That's right, Hitler's buzzsaw, the MG42. And considering that it weighs around 25 pounds by itself, and then adding on top of that the weight of a 250 round magazine, that's another 22 pounds. But the Helldivers tree cutter only has 175 rounds, so let's assume they're chambered in weird ass Mauser of 792 by 57, having about 70% as much ammo. I even went through to double check, it would also have 70% of the weight, that being 15 pounds. So we got a 40-pound gun, plus the 3 extra mags adding another 45 pounds. So we got 85 pounds added to the Helldiver, and they aren't even phased. Though, give or take a few pounds because this thing isn't in weird ass German rounds. It's actually an 8 by 60 millimeter, which is basically the same thing. Yet our boys in capes are hauling ass all across the maps with these things slung across their backs or in their hands, and it doesn't seem to affect them. And on top of that, they can box robots apart, they can smash bugs into that sweet E710, and they can just straight up tear apart squids with hitting them with their weapons. Speaking of weapons, as part of their helldiving training, they clearly have to be proficient with any firearms that Super Earth has to offer. And being drafted from the Super Earth Armed Forces goes to show that they were already trained in handling these weapons. While playing Helldivers, you can pick any primaries or secondaries that you have unlocked already. And say your Helldiver buddy takes an unfortunate accident, you can run over, pick up their gun, and use it proficiently as well. On top of that, you're running for long distances and constantly reloading without any issues.
Extraction request confirmed. Shuttle inbound.
And I know, this is because of gameplay, but anything that happens in Helldivers is part of the story. The gameplay is its story. And clearly, Helldivers are able to control some of that recoil, as seen with the boots on the ground target practice, and being able to snipe with an EAT rocket from across the map.
Come here, bud. Let me touch you.
Uh-oh.
I'm out.
Ooh, fucking snipe that shit.
Dropships.
They are used to everything provided by Super Earth. Not only can they run any weapon, they also have elite ball knowledge on armors. That's because armor only affects their speed due to flexibility and joint restrictions.
Tagging mapping a pin. Tagging map.
How else can you explain the fact that they can put on a backpack nuclear bomb and keep moving at the same speed? Or just have a full kit of ammo and heavy weapons and be unaffected? They just straight up run a lot longer and a lot faster than your average Joe, and I get it. Me as a fat guy isn't the best representation for running. But after a full-on sprint, they only need to slow down and jog for like 10 seconds before being able to sprint the exact same distance again. The hand-eye coordination to solve a Dance Dance Revolution puzzle on the fly isn't that hard, I get that. But an untrained person could panic and lose key motor functions. They definitely wouldn't be able to run away in a full sprint and reload something like a simple pistol, let alone something a little more complicated with the drum mag, like a breaker shotgun or the jar. Especially something complicated, like a belt-fed machine gun, like our stratagem here. It is very common to hit an adrenaline surge and then your muscles start to tense up and you can panic and you lose your coordination. This happens because of stress and anxiety, and you know what can cause a lot of stress and anxiety? Watching your buddy that you trained with get turned into food by some undemocratic degenerate. Again, I get it, this is for gameplay reasons, but like I said, The gameplay is part of the story for Helldivers. All that being said, a normal person walking into the recruitment office wouldn't be able to do these things. Why do you think there's a reason the military tears you down and builds you up into a new person?
I'm General Brash, Super Earth's oldest and most grizzled war hero, and I'm not easy to impress. Helldiver training is the toughest test in the galaxy, but I can tell that doesn't scare you. Impressive.
Simply put, they'd bumble around and likely wouldn't be able to cheese it if they dropped the 380mm directly on their feet.
You know, those little baby stalkers are the reason why I'm pro-choice.
And yeah, I get it. Helldiver's life expectancy is only 2 minutes from the time of drop. But this war is on a galactic scale, and have you seen the horrors that they get dropped into? It is a miracle you see any Seaf soldier still roaming around when you have a Reclaim the City mission. Why would you let your grunt soldiers be able to customize and specialize their loadouts for each mission? If you weren't an elite and you were just some Timbuck fuck, why wouldn't they give you a standardized uniform and a standardized loadout and send you out into the meat grinder like that? You see Seaf soldiers all around the cities with the same loadout and the same armors. The only difference between them is some haven't used their expendable anti-tank rockets. So I reiterate, why would you let your non-elite soldiers customize and specialize their loadouts for each and every mission? That's because Helldivers are Super Earth's elite. They are Super Earth's finest. In Super Earth society, Helldivers are hailed as venerated heroes and the fallen martyrs of Super Earth. Citizens who excitedly join the Super Earth armed forces out of a sense of patriotism and a desire to protect the others have a chance to be drafted into the Helldivers Corps, which is viewed as one of the greatest honors, to pass its rigorous training and bestowed the honor of bearing a Helldiver's cape. A beacon of freedom and hope for Super Earth and its citizens, it is a point of pride unmatched by almost anything. Everyone is ecstatic to see the Helldivers in action. From the Super Earth citizens that you're dropped in to rescue, to the ones who are running for their lives in megacities, and even our Super Earth armed forces who are just honored to be in your presence.
Follow me!
Greatest order ever given.
Every single person counts their blessings and thanks sweet liberty that you are there. They know, once a Helldiver shows up, your troubles are over. You can always rely on Super Earth's finest. Y'all stay pretty.